And we start the bulletin with the top focus this evening. Tripura Chief Minister Dr. Manik Saha, who is contesting from the town Bardauli constituency, filed his nomination today along with State BJP Vice President Ashok Sinha. Ashok Sinha is contesting from Agartala. Former Chief Minister Biplab Deb, along with other party leaders, took part in a rally with Chief Minister Manik Saha ahead of the nomination filing. It may be mentioned here that the by-polls are slated to be held on June 23rd and counting of votes is scheduled for June 26. So, big story we are tracking this evening from Tripura viewers. Well, Chief Minister Dr. Manik Saha, who is contesting from the town Bardauli constituency, filed his nomination today along with State BJP Vice President Ashok Sinha. Ashok Sinha is contesting from Agartala. Former Chief Minister Biplab Deb, along with other party leaders, took part in a rally with Chief Minister Manik Saha ahead of the nomination filing. It may be mentioned here that the by-polls are slated to be held on June 23rd and counting of votes is scheduled for June 26.
আমার তো কোনো রকম টেনশন হচ্ছে না, আমার এই হচ্ছে সমস্যা। আর আমি সব জায়গায় বলি টেনশন লেনে কা নেই দেনে কা হয়। তো আমার অসুবিধা হচ্ছে না কিছুই, যে উপলব্ধি মানে দেওয়ার পরে দেখি কি আবার উপলব্ধি হয়। আর মানুষের কাছে যাব, মানুষের আশীর্বাদ চাইবো। আর ভারতীয় জনতা পার্টির উপর সবার আশীর্বাদ আছে, আপনারা সবাই জানেন। যশস্বী প্রধানমন্ত্রী নরেন্দ্র মোদীজি আমাদের উপর সবসময় উনি আমাদের দেখে রাখেন, আমাদের গার্জিয়ান, এবং সমস্ত মানুষ এই আমাদের যশস্বী প্রধানমন্ত্রীকে সবসময় আশীর্বাদ করেন। আশা করি আমাকেও আশীর্বাদ করবেন এবং অন্যান্য যে আরো 3 কেন্দ্রে আমাদের মনোনয়নপত্র আজকে দাখিল করবেন তাদেরকেও আশীর্বাদ করবেন।
Final, semi-final, it's what you say, but what I tell people, it's only two ways of looking at things. You want to continue what we have been doing, or you want confusion. That's the issue. Let us continue what we have started in 2018. However much we succeeded or we did not is not the issue. The game must go on, and it will go on for quite some time now for improvement of the state. We have to become at par with the nation, and then only we can say we have done it.
Meanwhile, Congress's Sudeep Roy Burman and Ashish Kumar Saha also filed their nominations today. While Sudeep Roy Burman is contesting from the 6th Agartala Assembly constituency, Ashish Kumar Saha is contesting from the town Bardauli Assembly seat. And speaking to media persons during the nomination filing, Roy Burman exuded confidence of retaining the 6th Agartala seat. He claimed that the support from the public continues to be overwhelming. Roy Burman also attacked the BJP.
I had won from the same constituency 5 times consecutively. The response, the body language that I witnessed today, I can challenge this same body language does not exist even in 2018, where I won with the highest margin ever. But this time, I saw the anger. I could witness the anguish of the people to come out and throw out this government through voting. I sought the blessings of the people of my constituency, and I have no iota of doubt in my mind that 6 and 8, both the constituencies, will be won by Indian National Congress. Because people want a change, people have been fooled, people have been betrayed, the trust has been betrayed. Now, the people will take a sweet revenge through voting.
Meanwhile, Ashish Kumar Saha, who is up against Chief Minister Manik Saha, also exuded confidence of a good show.
हम लोग जो मुद्दा उठाया था वो सही था और उसको लेके पार्टी की चीफ मिनिस्टर का चेहरा बदल डाला। तो चीफ मिनिस्टर की चेहरा बदल डालने से तो यहाँ का आम जनता का कुछ नहीं होगा और आगे 6-7 महीने ये लोग क्षमता में है, तो क्षमता में होके ये लोग कुछ नहीं कर पाए। तो इसलिए ये उपचुनाव एक बड़ा चैलेंज है आम जनता के लिए। यहाँ लड़ाई हो रहा है बीजेपी की, जो यहाँ का जो अनरूली गवर्नमेंट चला रहा है उसके खिलाफ आम जनता का लड़ाई। हम कांग्रेस की तरफ से विकल्प देने के लिए हम खड़े हैं, हम आगे ले जाएंगे आम जनता को।
And to know more, we are being joined over phone line with her assistant news editor, Pinaki Das. So, Pinaki, the stage is set for the crucial Tripura by-polls. Very interesting contest on the cards. Chief Minister Manik Saha versus Congress's Ashish Saha. And BJP's Ashok Sinha pitched against former Minister Sudeep Roy Burman. So, your take on this?
Exactly. It's very interesting in the sense, if you see, once Dr. Ashok Sinha was the right hand and the main man of Sudeep Roy Burman, and both had switched from Congress to Trinamool, then to BJP. And now Sudeep has again switched to Congress, back to his old party, and Ashok Sinha is contesting against Sudeep Roy Burman. And on the other side, in the last assembly election in 2018, Ashish Shah was the candidate from Bardwali, where now he is again contesting that from the Congress ticket and against new Chief Minister Dr. Manik Shah. And he'll, in that seat, actually Ashish Shah had on with more than 11,000 votes, which is one of the highest margin in Tripura. And then later in one seat, that was also a by-election, but in which the Deputy Chief Minister had won with a more margin, but that was a by-election. In the direct election, that was Ashish Shah. So it will be a tough contest between the BJP, ruling BJP and the Congress. In the sense, Sudeep Roy Burman is a 5-time MLA from this constituency, Agartala constituency, and Ashok Sinha had to give a tough fight because if you see into the issues, those are main agenda in this election is the BJP is saying we had people's blessings and people are with Prime Minister Modi, so we will again get the blessing and come with more number of seats and more votes. On the contrary, Congress leaders Sudeep Roy Burman and Ashish Shah are claiming we had left the party because the party was not functioning in the manner I should have. The promises that those were kept given in 2018 election and before it, those were not kept, and people have been betrayed. And we are for the people, even within the BJP, we spoke against BJP because we want people to get their rights. Now we had no other option, so we had to switch over from that to Congress. And on the other hand, BJP is alleging that these people are creating confusion among the voters. That won't work. Now we have to wait for which direction the people go. But both BJP and Congress are on one issue. They have said that now peace and development should be there, and if peace is there, people will come out to vote, whichever party they may vote. There's no problem, but there should be peace prevailing, and the election commission should take measures so that peace exists and people are able to cast their vote.
Right, Pinaki. So now talking about Sudeep Roy Burman, well, after jumping ship from BJP to Congress, well, this is Sudeep Roy Burman's first by-poll elections being a Congress candidate. So how's the mood there and how people are responding to it? What's the ground scenario, Pinaki? What are your sources telling you regarding this?
See, Sudeep Roy Burman is one of the strong politicians in Tripura. He has been in the Congress. He had some difference with the Congress in the sense they had alleged them that the Delhi leadership of Congress was not serious in removing the left, which was in power for 25 years at a stretch, to fight against the left, he first went to Mamata Banerjee's party and later to the BJP, and they were successful in removing the 25 years left from Tripura. And now, if you see into the sections in Tripura, though in the Panchayat, BJP had a majority. There was in fact no election without any contest. BJP got all the seats in Tripura. But following that, BJP got, in the sense, Tripura Motha party had emerged by that time, and in the CTABC, BJP had lost the being in the state. It had a massive stroke for the BJP in the sense. It lost to the Tripura Motha, which was a massive loss for the BJP. And then after that, in the civic poll that was held some time back, there was a lot of allegations of vote capturing and poll violence. So anti-incumbency is there. You cannot deny that. BJP also does not deny. But they say there were some mistakes, and now the opposition is also raising why Biplab Dev has been removed. So these are some of the issues that BJP has to address, and BJP has to make it clear, because there are allegations of corruption also. So whatever may be the reason, BJP is in power, and in by-election, even the opposition says that the party in power always have an advantage. But they
Right.
the opposition at the same time is also claiming the way the people's mood is over here. That
Right, okay.
angry
Makidas, thank
against-
you so much for all those details. And on to another big story now. In a tragic incident, a worker of the National Hydropower Corporation, or NHPC, lost his life today at Lower Subansiri. As per reports, the worker who was engaged in the hydropower project in the NHPC died due to massive erosion inside the tunnel. The deceased has been identified as Jitu Hatiborwa, a resident of Parvatipur in Gogabuk. Meanwhile, two other workers have also received grievous injuries. So it was indeed a tragic incident reported. Well, a worker of the National Hydropower Corporation, or NHPC, lost his life today at Lower Subansiri. As per reports, the worker who was engaged in the hydropower project in the NHPC died due to massive erosion inside the tunnel. The deceased has been identified as Jitu Hatiborwa, a resident of Parvatipur in Gogamuk. Meanwhile, two other workers have also received grievous injuries.
তেওঁৰ নাম হ'ল জিতু হাতীবৰুৱা। মই আছিলোঁ 4 নম্বৰ দানত আছিলোঁ। মই বেলেগ ঠিকাদাৰ মানুহ হয়। তাৰপৰা এইজন আছিলে বিমল কুটুমৰ মানুহ। 2 নম্বৰ আপত মানে এনেকৈ যিটো মানে আপোনাৰ লিফ্ট লগাইছিলে ন, লিফ্ট লগাই যাত মানে কিয় মানে ওপৰত শ্বৰ্টকিট মাৰে, শ্বৰ্টকিট মৰা নাছিলে। তাৰপৰা তাত মানে এইটো চিনিয়ৰ মানুহ জানো আছিলে, কি হ'ল শ্বৰ্টকিট আছিলে নেকি? মই মানে মন দিলোঁ, মানে মই যোৱা নাছিলোঁ যে মানে যেতিয়া এক্সিডেণ্ট হৈছিলে। তাৰপৰা লিফ্ট আছিলে, লোহাৰ লিফ্ট বুকুত পৰি বুকুত ফাটি গ'ল।
And moving on to Manipur now, the Council of Higher Secondary Education, or CHSE Manipur, declared the results for Class 12 board exams this afternoon. Manipur Education Minister T.H. Basantakumar Singh released the results at the board office. The results are available on the council's official website, manresults.nic.in.
We have to make efforts, keep improving, and as you see, overall result, we've got 90% overall pass percentage. Out of that, 89 is from government schools. So it's a big improvement. So our effort is to make everyone pass, not just become a topper, but everyone should be educated. We should not leave anyone behind so that he doesn't go to school or college. We have to ensure that everyone comes to school and college, everyone gets education, and then we can progress together as a society. So being a topper is not the only thing. But as far as I can see, even government schools are improving. We have in the art stream We have a girl from TG Girls School who has come fifth. So improvement will come. But private schools, of course, they are more. They may be having more, facilities and all that. We'll improve our own facilities, also improve our teacher training, and give them better counseling. But I think the effort is to make everyone become educated. 90% of our students have passed the 12th class exams. They can move forward and go to college.
We also have reactions coming in from Chairman of Council of Higher Secondary Education, Manipur, L. Mahendra Singh.
I feel myself very much impressed with the performance of the students in the midst of all this social environment under the impact of this pandemic, so on and so forth. But students and the children of Manipur are coming up. I feel really proud of them. And that pass percentage is in the rising graph in comparison in the recent past. From 67 to we have reached, our children have reached the 90.09. It is a very commendable performance by our students. And then overall performance, I'm really satisfied. And the job so far taken by the entire teachers of the higher secondary education of Manipur, and then my staff and secretary and controller, and they have rendered a very, very wonderful service to make the result declared within the stipulated time.
All right, staying with Manipur, teachers and students of Little Flower School in Imphal staged protests condemning the IED blast at the entrance of school yesterday. Our correspondent Sharat Chandra spoke to the agitating teachers and students who demanded that violence must end and educational institutes must not be targeted. It may be mentioned that on Sunday early morning, a bomb suspected to be an IED went off at school gate. However, no casualty was reported in the incident. Chief Minister Biren Singh had condemned the incident and said that stern action will be taken against the perpetrators.
Make education a free zone!
Today, we are here, the students and the staff, in protest against the bomb blast at our school gate. We want peace, we want justice, we want to ensure security, healthy education to our children. And so we request every one of you, people of goodwill, who wish the good of your children, to join us to work for peace, to work for justice, and to work together to make our Manipur a beautiful home where every child can find a place that is peaceful for learning, peaceful for living, and to be in communion with everyone.
Is there any threat or monetary demand from any proscribed group?
Actually, we have got many issues, but then we are working on it. We are in process trying to go for a peaceful solution. Perhaps the main thing may be that we are not able to please everyone who come for admission. That is the most outstanding news for issue for our school today. We have displeased many people. Many are happy, yes, but then many are not happy. And perhaps that may be the bigger issue that we have to work out.
I would like to say that education. What is education? Education is everything to our children. So first of all, education must be free from all kind of crime because we the students are the future of the nation. And I, on behalf of all the students of Little Flower School in Fall, would like to say that we don't deserve such kind of atrocity. And I would like to request to the higher authority to take it on a nod or to see the certain condition at the earliest.
And on to a big story now. Well, the Assam police has accessed crucial leads pertaining to the Serfanguri firing incident in Kokrajhar district. If sources are to be believed, the Assam police has ascertained that the proscribed Kamatapur Liberation Organization, or the KLO, is behind the attack where Sunil Mandal, a businessman, was critically injured. And as per inputs, the attack was carried out by KLO leader Partha Pratim Burman, alias Bappa. Meanwhile, 6 persons, including a lady, have been detained in connection with the case. And those detained have been identified as Gaur Chandra Rai, Nirmal Rai, Uttam Rai, Mridul Rai, and Bikash Botra. So, viewers, the Assam police has accessed crucial leads pertaining to the Serfanguri firing incident in Kokrajhar district. And if sources are to be believed, the Assam police has ascertained that the proscribed Kamatapur Liberation Organization, or the KLO, is behind the attack where Sunil Mandal, a businessman, was critically injured. And as per inputs, the attack was carried out by KLO leader Partha Pratim Burman, alias Bappa. Meanwhile, 6 persons, including a lady, have been detained in connection with the case. Those detained have been identified as Gaur Chandra Rai, Nirmal Rai, Uttam Rai, Mridul Rai, and Bikash Botra.
उस केस में अभी तक हमने 6 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया है और उनका पूछताछ चल रहा है और उनके पूछताछ से भी काफी सारी इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे हाथ में आई है. वी आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि शॉर्टली ही ये केस भी हम सक्सेसफुली इन्वेस्टिगेट और कंप्लीट कर लेंगे. आम्हाला लोक हातोत नाम आसे और आम्ही प्रॉपरली हे करणे आम्ही कॉन्फिडेंट असू की तो आम्ही क्रॅक करू केस. ताज जिमान आम्ही कनेक्शन पाइसु की लोकलत कुनबा तार सोर्सेस आसे इन्फॉर्मेशन सिंपथाइजर आसे जोने इन्फॉर्मेशन दी थाके तार अगेंस्ट होते आम्ही एक्शन स्टार्ट करूছিলো. तो हे करणे तो किसी एक आदमी के खिलाफ या किसी एक पर्टिकुलर लोगों के खिलाफ ये नहीं है. जिनका जिनका उसमें इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, जो भी होगा उसके खिलाफ एकदम सख्त एक्शन होगा.
And time for a very short break now. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
মই ব্যৱহাৰ কৰোঁ আটাইতকৈ সবল আৰু সতেজ চিমেণ্ট সূৰ্য চিমেণ্ট অটুট ঘৰ অটুট অসম.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Oh, ba? Oh, ba?
অপূর্ব ভ্যারাইটি অপূর্ব মূল্য ডাউনলোড মিশো.
You know it's only a drill, and yet you train like it is the real thing. Because one day, at a second's notice, it will be. One day, you'll come together as an invincible team. And every second you save will be a life saved. The Indian Air Force is looking for an exceptional team. A team that is truly a cut above.
Join the Indian Air Force to be a cut above.
Welcome back. You're watching Northeast Live. And now, before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Stage set for crucial Tripura by polls. Chief Minister Manik Saha files nomination from Town Bardauli seat. Congress's Sudeep Roy Burman looks to retain Agartala seat. Council of Higher Secondary Education declares Class 12 board results. High pass percentage of over 90% registered. Fresh deaths trigger fear as African swine fever kills over 4,000 pigs in Mizoram in 2 months. African swine fever spreads to 7 of 11 districts of state. And UDA Chairman TR Zaliang urges Naga leaders not to make remarks that may create confusion in peace talks. Assures public that no deal will be finalized without proper consultation. And now on to a big story from Nagaland. Well, UDA chairman and former Nagaland Chief Minister TR Zaliang has assured the public that no deal will be signed secretly and imposed on the people as far as the Naga political issue is concerned. In an open letter to the people of Nagaland and Nagas in general, the veteran politician also urged the Naga leaders to refrain from making any comments that may have an adverse impact or create confusion in the talks process. Not only this, Zeliang also urged the government of India and the Naga negotiating groups not to back out from what has been committed to each other in written or verbally during the last 25 years.
One should not believe that such a complex and sensitive issue will be inked secretly and imposed on our people. As desired by the Naga people, we trust and believe that once the negotiating parties have arrived at a common ground, they will surely consult all the apex tribal leaders and the state government before inking the final accord. In conclusion, I want to convey the message to both the Naga negotiating groups and the government of India that both the parties should not back out from what has been committed to each other in written or in verbal during the last 25 years, so that the Naga people can expect the talks to come to a logical conclusion at the earliest. Thank you. May God continue to lead and guide the Naga people. Kupnaling.
Besides, Zeliang said that varied debates on issues surrounding the Indo-Naga political issue, both in print and social media, has resulted in misunderstanding and confusion over a solution to the vexed issue. Zeliang has also appealed to all Naga leaders to refrain from putting forth statements based on personal speculation on the Naga issue in public domain. Zeliang said that it is premature to come to conclusion that some of the key issues will not be included in the agreement, while the negotiating parties have agreed to most of the competencies and arrived at the meeting point.
I ardently appeal to all right-thinking Naga leaders to refrain from putting both statements based on personal speculation of the Indo-Naga political issue in public domain. In particular, overground Naga leaders who are under oath of allegiance to the Constitution of India must restrain themselves from making loose remarks on the matter. Any unwarranted statement made by Naga leaders which is outside the parameters of the ongoing negotiation between the Naga negotiating groups and the government of India will mislead the Naga people before the draft agreement is formulated by government of India and placed before the Naga leaders. It is important to appreciate the genuine efforts put in by the Naga negotiating groups and the government of India to bring about an amicable settlement to the Naga political issue, While it is widely understood that the two sides have agreed to most of the competencies and have arrived at a meeting point, it is premature to come to conclusion that some of the key issues which the Naga people aspire will not be included in the agreement. There have been speculation that post-solution, the present state of Nagaland will cease to exist. This, as we understand, is absolutely wrong. Likewise, the assumption that the Ntanki National Park will be deforested by government of India and allotted to the Naga nationalist workers for resettlement is also outside the box of negotiation. It has been confirmed from both sides that such demands was never placed before the government of India by either of the negotiating group. It is totally a work of fiction and there is no truth in it because even if such demand comes up in the near future, the government of India will never agree to such a proposal as we were made known by the Indian representative of the peace talks. Keeping this in mind, the present day UDA government requests all Naga organizations and Naga leaders to avoid issuing public statements based on speculation and hearsays, as the same is bound to confuse and mislead the Naga people at this crucial juncture, when the Indo-Naga peace talks are at the threshold of a final breakthrough. We conveyed the sentiments of the Naga negotiating groups to central leaders that government of India should not change its stand from what had been committed to the Nagas in written through R.N. Ravi or A.K. Misra because both represents government of India, though in different times.
And now on to a big story from Mizoram. As many as 4,189 pig deaths have occurred due to the outbreak of African swine fever since its recurrence in Mizoram during early March. In the wake of these statistics, fresh pig deaths have triggered another massive alert in the hill state. As per inputs, 13 pigs died yesterday and 39 on Saturday, and the casualties during the past few days were mainly from Myanmar border Champhai, while few pigs died in Aizawl district. Over 3,000 pigs have been culled so far to combat the contagious African swine fever. The State Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Department officials said that the dreaded porcine disease infestation has been detected in 57 villages covering 7 districts of the total 11 districts of the state. Meanwhile, State Veterinary Officer Dr. K. Baichua said that the state government would soon declare African swine fever outbreak as state disaster so that compensation would be awarded for those pigs culled. So as many as 4,189 pig deaths have occurred due to the outbreak of African swine fever since its recurrence in Mizoram during early March. And in the wake of these statistics, fresh pig deaths have triggered another massive alert in Mizoram. Well, as per inputs that we are getting in, 13 pigs died yesterday and 39 on Saturday, and the casualties during the past few days were mainly from Myanmar border Champhai, while few pigs died in Aizawl district. Over 3,000 pigs have been culled so far to combat the contagious African swine fever. The State Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Department officials said that the dreaded porcine disease infestation has been detected in 57 villages covering 7 districts of the total 11 districts of the state. Meanwhile, State Veterinary Officer Dr. K. Bechua said that the state government would soon declare African swine fever outbreak as state's disaster so that compensation would be awarded for those pigs culled. And shifting focus now. In a sensational development, the Popular Front of India, or the PFI, has confessed that arrested jihadi Makibul Hussain was one of its members. It may be mentioned here that Assam police is carrying anti-terror operations on a war footing since April and have so far arrested 16 fanatics of Ansarullah Bangla, an Islamic jihadi organization operating from Bangladesh. Well, General Secretary of PFI's Assam wing has acknowledged of Makibul Hussein's membership. Makibul Hussain was arrested from Assam's Borpeta.
যি 16জন মানুহ এৰেষ্ট হৈছে তাৰে এজন ল'ৰা পপুলাৰ ফ্ৰণ্টৰ লগত জড়িত থকাৰ কথা কৈছে। এই কথাটো আমি যেতিয়া খবৰত আমি পাইছোঁ লগে লগে আমি খবৰ লৈছোঁ যে হয় তেওঁ আমাৰ সংগঠনৰ সদস্য হিচাপে আহিছিল যদিও মানে জাষ্ট এটা মেম্বাৰ হিচাপে আহিছিল আৰু খুব কম দিনৰ ভিতৰত তেওঁ গুচি গৈছে। 2019ৰ শেষৰ ফালে তেওঁ মানে আমাৰ সংগঠনৰ পৰা আঁতৰি গৈছে আৰু এই কথা কালি সিদিনা এডিজিপিও কৈছে যে তেখেতে মানে ৰিজাইন কৰি বেলেগত গুচি গৈছে এনেকৈ কৈছে। PFIৰ সদস্য হৈছিল, জাষ্ট জেনেৰেল মেম্বাৰ হিচাপে মানে অংশগ্ৰহণ কৰিছিল, কিন্তু তেওঁ খুব কম দিনৰ ভিতৰত আকৌ মানে গুচি।
On to Meghalaya now. PWD Minister D. Lamare informed that the IIT Guwahati is yet to start its audit to look into the collapse of the central dome of under construction State Assembly building. Well, Lamare informed that at least 15 to 18 professionals will be involved in the auditing process.
We have empaneled IIT Guwahati to do the audit. And the next day itself, after deciding that, we should go for IIT Guwahati, they came. What's his name? Professor Anjan. Professor Anjan Datta was here. He was kind enough to spare his valuable time to be here early in the morning, the next day after the impaneling. And they were in the site with the chief engineer and then with 2-3 more of the supervision team of PWD building department. And they have casually inspected the site, but they needed, a few more professionals to start. And today morning also, I spoke to them, to IIT Guwahati. I actually have been speaking to them every day. So today morning also, we were supposed to meet this evening, but then I got a call from Professor Anjan, and he told me that, sir, it will not be possible to come this evening because, the team that is trying to prepare, because they need at least I think 15 to 18 professionals in all regards to start and to move ahead. Because the only focus that I have on this is to find out the most genuine reason of why did the dome fell. So I don't think it's correct for me or for anybody to pressure them also to make it as quick as they can, because I think we should give them the most reasonable time, to prepare their team, to bring all the equipments that they need to do the inspection, to do the audit, so that we get the most genuine reason, we get the most genuine reports based on this, then further actions could be taken.
Asked if the Meghalaya Urban Development Authority had cautioned against the installation of the dome, he said the suggestion came only after the collapse of the dome.
Not an objection. I think it was a suggestion. And this suggestion came out few days ago, and just a day or 2 days after it fell as well. But if you ask me personally, just because it fell, it doesn't mean that will change the design or change the structure. That building, is the pride of Meghalaya. It's the first one. It's going to be the first building of that type of structure in the Northeast. Northeast India. So if you ask me personally, I would.
বোৱাৰী নাতিনী আৰু মোদীজী
মানে PM নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী সম্বন্ধীয়া নেকি বৰ্মা
চাহ